Welcome to the J.R. Hendrick Texan Night. Story in the life of J.R. Hendrick. This episode is called Hats Off to the Winner. 6:40, the 6th and 7th of February passed quietly. 6:45 a.m., February 8th. J.R. returns to his room after swim practice with Bill Holden. This morning, he was having breakfast with Aunt Donna to discuss a favor that Jim Bob Horton had asked of him. 6:50 a.m. J.R. and his Aunt Donna are having breakfast at the Southern Maid Donut franchise at the Texas Tech School of Business. Jessica went to school with Jim Bob at John Ireland Elementary, Donna said. Don't you worry. I talked to my old high school where I used to teach, and the new teacher has agreed to help him with the fundraising. He's also driving me crazy. He wants me to try to get along with Brad. The prep school Good Old Boys network doesn't always work, JR. Carla was pretty furious with your dad having you sent to local prep schools. Okay, they were rough at first, Aunt Donna. But I made a lot of friends. And they were not always the same circles as Brad and Jim Bob. 6:55 a.m. Meanwhile, JR's father is driving on his way to the University of North Texas in Denton to talk at the School of Business. 8 a.m. In government class, Dr. Randy Wild makes this pronouncement. This morning, we are going to be looking at how our government can be shaped by public opinion. I want you to know that it leaves a major impact on public policy. Meanwhile, in Denton, Jim is giving a speech about healthcare economics and how it impacts small business. 9:30 a.m. JR is in petroleum geology class. JR turns in his term paper he had written thanks to the help of his father and Aunt Donna. Now, he could relax until the test on Thursday. 10:20 a.m. JR is relieved when geology class is let out early. He walks outside and is greeted by Brad. Look, JR, I had a chance to think about it. I'm sorry about what I said. It was hateful, Brad said. I accept your apology if you promise from here on out we can be civil without a debate about my friendship with Ken. I'll do better, I promise. I'm a man of my word. 11 a.m. JR is in his room listening to the Andrew House show when House made this pronouncement. Bill Perry is a fool. You know, he's nothing more than an appointment recycled from the Carter years. The largest in Marxist liberalism. It is my hope that American conservatives stand up and say no more. If you're one of those college Halcyons, I recommend you read Saving the Republic by Blake Carter. He may be a libertarian, but he stands on conservative biblical values. And you can take that to the bank. 12 p.m. JR is attending a PRSSA meeting in the foyer of the Center for Public Affairs. At the opening, John McComb gave away a door prize to whoever could answer the following question. Who is the current ranking liberal Republican U.S. Senator? Our inspector, JR said. Congratulations, son. You just won a year's free subscription to Strategies and Tactics. You can receive the paper here, and this summer you can pull it off of the BBS. 12:10 p.m. Meanwhile, in Gainesville, Jim and Betsy, Claude and Becky who newly arrived from Dallas, celebrate with tuna sandwiches and champagne. Jim had received news from his secretary and accountant that the Senate Small Business Committee was voting and decided to put his confirmation before the Senate floor on February 19th, 2 p.m. At the Center for Public Affairs, JR is working on a fact sheet regarding health care accommodations for those with mental illnesses. But when his tutor, Indy Pilcher's back was turned, he opened up his copy of Saving the Republic by Blake Carter. 3:05 p.m. At the Henrick Lake House in Gainesville, Jim and Betsy, Claude and Becky are sitting around talking, smoking cigarettes. Teddy just informed me she just walked out on Blake, Betsy said. Oh, hell. They'll get back together, Jim said. I think since 1992. It's like he's been way too preoccupied with way too prepared to get Clinton out. You know, when he's on the trip and not working on foreign policy, when he's on the trip and not working on foreign policy, he's sleeping around, Becky said. He spends more time away from the White House partying than the other guys working on this country, Claude said. Republicans are going to win this time. Yeah, because Hillary Clinton's a ditz, Betsy said. I know it's sure ain't Christian to say something like that, but it's going to be hard in some ways for us to get along. 5:10 p.m. JR is listening to the Blake Carter show when Carter makes the following pronouncement. How many of you are sitting there in your home with your IBM Simon wondering if Tonya Harding is going to make the Olympics? Or are you like me, sitting there angry as hell that HHS Secretary Donna Shalala is agreeing with Jocelyn Elders about putting condoms in school? 6 p.m. JR is speaking at the Cheesecake Toastmasters meeting at the School of Mass Communications. His topic, uh, help save the Republic. 8:15 p.m. Jill returns home to his room when his cell phone rings. It's his Aunt Donna. "How was your day?" Donna said. "Great. I won a free subscription to Tactics and Strategies magazine at a meeting today, and tonight at Cheesecake Toastmasters. I won best for table topics." "Well, hats off to the winner. Your dad would be so proud." 8:55 p.m. Jim and Claude have been drinking Jack Daniel's whiskey, but they decide to taper off because they would have to leave at 6 in the morning to go to DFW, where they would take their 7:05 departure for Midland, Texas. That afternoon, Jim would have a meeting of the Texas Railroad Commission, and then he and Claude would go visit the rig in our inn. Also, the next day, Kyle would be buying half of some Hereford cattle in our inn. Jim and Kyle have learned from Jeremy Swade that Hereford cattle cannot be beat back in 1985. 9:25 p.m. Jared is in the room listening to a taped interview between his father and Blake Carter. "This President Clinton is a complete blockhead who needs reining in. It's clear to me that he has done nothing for business, particularly the business that is the lifeblood of this economy," Jim said. "And so that's why you accepted this appointment from President Clinton to the SBA," Carter said. "I wanted to be Secretary of Commerce under Bush and Clinton, but I got this job instead. I think when I come into power in March, I will do my best to win the SBA over to pro-business public affairs. It hasn't been done yet. Not to speak ill of the dead, but my predecessor, William Bingham, considering he helped my son get into Odessa College. But he has kept informing the public about what good the Bush and Clinton administration can do for small business, but without much results." February 9th, 1994. 4 a.m. In his room, waking up, Jared realized that the day before, he got sidetracked. So he goes by his nightstand and opens a package from the current outgoing caseworker for the state, George Landau. He received a handy cassette recorder. His father, knowing what was going on, invested in a hard case so that it wouldn't be dropped. 4:40 a.m. JR puts in those headphones and turns on his radio on his Walkman.